Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. Good morning. I hope everyone is doing great on this Monday morning, the beginning of a week. And this is the Real Housewives of Potomac review. If you come in during the live, thank you so much for joining me during the live. If you are Team Replay, thank you, Team Replay. As always, click the like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please go ahead and subscribe. This is a big week for me, everybody, and you are going to follow me along on my BravoCon journey. So I have a few panels that I believe I'll be able to get into. I couldn't see whether or not I'm on the photo opportunity or not because, of course, there's so many creators and just Bravo fans that will be joining. We don't really know. I know that all of the slots were filled up, but it looks like I got either a Friday or Saturday. So it's kind of hard to tell which housewives I might be able to engage with or Bravo celebrities. But I'm going to pull in Sandra P's Gen Extras with me. Okay. Thank you so much. So sit down and join me for this reaction, recap, little bit of a rant. We had Angel Massey on Watch What Happens Live last night. I watched it. She did a pretty good job. She was on there. I can't remember the lady's name, but the lady's going to be hosting the Salt Lake City panel. She's a content creator and she's one of those Bravo fans that knows all things Bravo. So Angel did a pretty good job. Played a lot of fun games with Andy. Loosened up a little bit. So we're only season 10, episode 6, but this is Angel's first season. So she is a freshman. I'm giving her grace on that. There's quite a few people that want Angel up out of there. I'm not one of them. So I'll start with that, okay? I'm going to defend Angel, okay, as much as I can. When she needs notes, I have to give her some notes. But, there's a lot that she can improve, but there's a lot she is doing well for her first season. I'll just say that. So we're going to start with, they were still at the dinner. Mr. Sunshine brings out, and he's the owner of the restaurant where the ladies are having dinner. He brings out a tray of shots. Gizelle told us that we're going to have shady shot time. Of course, it wouldn't be that. Gizelle's holding the tray. There was one extra tall shot on there. I guess that was hers. They didn't name that for her. The way I would have named the shady shot for Gizelle. And the lady should have been ready with something. So she was shimmying and ended up spilling the large one kind of on her. And Angel's like, hand her a napkin. The rest of them were like, oh, help her. They all just flutter around Gizelle, even though she shades the stuffing out of all of them. So Tia was the stylist because, when one time she backed Gizelle up off her, she said she sent a DM offering Gizelle her styling services. Tia says, I used to be. I don't know. I like the way Tia dresses. She has a confessional look that is Nigerian. It's blue, baby blue, and then she has the head wrapped on. It is gorgeous. Welcome in. Hey, cousin Sandra. So gotcha. Hey, Miss Sandra in chat, Kiwan J. Hello, y'all, for coming in during this live recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac. Thank you so much for joining me. And okay. All right, now I know. Yes, thank you so much for that boundaries talk that you did that day. It was wonderful. I'm so glad you're here for live, both of you ladies. So we have Gizelle giving out her shady drinks, already knocked one in her lap. That's what you get, Gizelle. I like Gizelle, but she can be a trip. And she trolls the stuffing out of these ladies. Stacy said nothing. Okay, can we get over this, please, with the nothing? Gizelle has gotten you pressed. Confessional Gizelle says, I didn't know whether or not to call her Mrs. Samuels or call her Timu, so I just left it blank. This is going to be funny one more time, Gizelle, but we're almost at the end of that. Confessional Stacy says, try again, Gizelle. You cannot shake me. That is that QVC training, and I don't think she can shake her. Kay says, Gizelle is having a haterade, a Gizelle hater. So we don't know what's going on with Kay and Gizelle, but we're going to find out a little bit later. Wendy said that Gizelle, I forgot what she said on Wendy. Next year, if Wendy returns, we know what they're going to be saying about Wendy. But Confessional Gizelle says that Kay has some residual feelings about her that are ridiculous. I've genuinely supported Kay. I liked her when Greg didn't like her. Now that's shade. You see how Gizelle do? I just don't understand. So we go back to the table. Jazzy pipes up. You've always said genuinely nice things about Kay. Jazzy is really working for this flute. I like her a friend of, but they could also make her full time. But sometimes it's a little desperate. Jazzy, you don't have to weigh in on everything. Gizelle's very capable of defending herself. She's been doing it for 10 seasons. Kay says, well, we'll talk about it when Wendy's better. That's why Wendy didn't have a shot. She wasn't there. Wendy was still back at the resort sick. Wendy, you don't have to pay for these dinners, There's no need to get dressed up and then lay down in the bed. You can come out with the ladies. So Gizelle agrees to table it until they get an audience with Dr. Wendy. The ladies are dancing, winding their waist. They're in Nevis. Mr. Sunshine, I saw him whisper and tell Jazzy, you move like an island gal. You're my favorite. That's going to come up later. So Kay and Angel said, we live to fight another day. We hear them in their room kind of talking to each other. I want to see Angel be herself that she is with Kay in front of everybody else. Even the night Kay went to bed, all the ladies had a great time with Angel. And Angel was being shady. She was defending herself, so we loved it. Good morning, Mama 59 Works. This is my sister, one of my moderators. Good morning, Sandra P. in chat. Welcome to all new subscribers. Yes, thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate it. So we get the producer, camera, bobblehead Ashley. Darby, mind your business. She's still questioning Stacey. I would have been in the bed. She's still questioning Stacey about how do you know Chris Samuels? Jazzy is there. Stacey's saying, we were separated, going through a divorce. He was already divorced. Timu saw other people. I saw other people. I didn't sleep with anyone else. Jazzy pipes up, did you F Chris? And Stacey said, no, she didn't sleep with anyone else. What is the matter with y'all? What's not clicking? Stacey says that her and Chris didn't do anything. He is a dear friend. I believe Stacey, y'all. I don't think Chris is her type. So they are having a slut night theme. Gizelle, you love this kind of stuff. So Kay calls Greg and jokes with him about it. He jokes, oh, wow, we're having a slut night too where I am. Okay, Greg, thank you for not showing us. Ashley discusses Dean with her mom. Sheila's on the phone with Ashley. Her son, Dean, is obsessed with Beetlejuice. Actually, last week he was obsessed with Hamilton because y'all were going to Hamilton House. So you have a theater kid. Congratulations. Ashley says she needs a little more sex in her life. She guesses being around Stacey. Ashley, you're just a freak anyway. Don't blame Stacey for that. She said Stacey might be contagious. She told Sheila something about Josh. I don't buy that relationship. I think it's a Bravo celebrity type thing. So Angel is in a confessional. She tells us she wants to approach the day positively. She can't continue to dwell on what's happened. She can't let negativity take over. I don't know. Angel, are you sure you're not the one that's being negative? Because Angel lets little things bother her and she stews in it. And we don't need to see that. We don't need to see it. Dr. Wendy says she's better. So Dr. Wendy realized she doesn't have to use her credit card. Gizelle's hosting the trip and most of the things are paid for. Because I'll tell you what, that little t-shirt shop had her pressed. She ran outside just a sweating and had Jazzy pay for her stuff. So there's no credit card swipe machine in front of her. Dr. Wendy's feeling better, y'all. She said something about I don't know if it was an allergic reaction or she's on antibiotics, something she said, sinus infection. Dr. Wendy came up with something, or Eddie told her. Stacey has swollen lips. Stacey, what's going on? She's saying some type of allergic reaction. Ashley is claiming last night she spewed lies and her lips grew. So Ashley always trying to read Stacey. She said it was like Pinocchio grows a nose when he lies. Stacey grew her lips. So Tia says, when you take a golf cart to a yacht, you are living. Gizelle still teasing her. Is that when you're living, Tia? A golf cart to a yacht? Tia's British, Nigerian royalty. So she's got the little accent going on, which we love. I like Tia, y'all. She's pretty funny. Angel came out to the golf cart with a cup of coffee. Something else she had in her hand that made me laugh. So Gizelle claims she's getting to know Stacey. And Stacey was like, yay, oh my goodness, because they're all on the yacht. And then she acts like she's going to hug Gizelle. And Gizelle's like, okay, too much. Stacey's like, she's like eager to get to know everybody. That's why it's kind of mean when they troll her like they do. But I'm glad she's being a good sport about it. Gizelle, she wants to pull Wendy aside and Kay. Wendy claims ignorance. Wendy doesn't know anything about what's going on. Why are we a threesome? What's going on? Kay is saying that she never hated Gizelle in New York years ago. Now, we know this means at the reunion. She was kind of upset that Gizelle did not reach out to her after she was assaulted by one of Ashley's friends, Sesame Street, that she actually brought to the party to assault Candace, her co-worker and nemesis. So Gizelle is clearing up. The reason why I didn't reach out to you after that was because as soon as we left the Gizelle and Ashley event, that's the G&A clothing line or whatever it is they have going on, as soon as they left the event, and then production flashes back to New York to let us know, Gizelle is telling us teary-eyed, her father had a brain aneurysm, I believe it was. He took his last breath. We know he was from New Orleans. Gizelle hosted a trip where we got to see him on the second line. Gizelle was a daddy's girl, and this was heartbreaking to her. Tia's kind of choking up. We find out she lost her father 8 years ago, y'all. I know the feeling. It's been 5 years for mine, and that's something you never get over. Tia brings that up later. So Gizelle is saying, my dad was in ICU. You had to call a plastic surgeon for your situation. We know Kiana got that permanent scar, courtesy of Sesame Street, Ashley's attack dog. She said, you had to call a plastic surgeon for your situation. My dad's no longer here. Someone's whispering, oh my God. So Kay has these little shades on. She flips her shades up to kind of look at Gizelle eye to eye. She says, why is this coming up from 2 years ago? Wendy, she said, I knew Wendy was a sneaky snake. I have to agree with Kay on this. Why is Wendy talking to Gizelle about something Kay might have said? Or was it, I think Wendy might have been talking about Gizelle, or they were discussing Gizelle to each other, because Gizelle is clapping her hands about my father, and Kay starts clapping back. Wendy's still sitting there confused. She doesn't know anything about it. Wendy, this is kind of trifling. I don't like this. So she knows she might have said something to Gizelle to cause conflict between her and Kay, but she's acting like she doesn't know nothing about it. So we see Wendy in her confessional. That red is so pretty on her, y'all. Honey, butter would melt in her mouth. Wendy's sitting up there. I don't know why Kay is thinking I have something to do with this. And then she's saying, Kay is the one that is sneaky. She basically hated Gizelle. And now, did she say she basically hated her, or is this something Wendy came up with? I don't know. But in the confessional, she's telling us she basically said she hated Gizelle, and now she's upset that Gizelle knows. And she says, Kay is fake AF. I don't know. I think Kay's kind of authentic. I want to see her not be so aggressive and combative, but I don't see her as fake. Now, what we know about Wendy, and it is hard to watch this show without what we know about Wendy right in the back of my mind. So for her to call somebody fake AF is that's kind of odd. And Kay, I'll say this to Kay. Kay, the only one on this cast you should have any type issue with is Ashley. Bobblehead Darby brought someone, Sesame Street and the Grouch and them, to an event. It was her event. They're launching a fashion line, and she brought someone there to fight Candace. And that's how you jumped in and got hurt. So Kay lets us know. She says, well, Gizelle, my feelings were also hurt. Afterward, I found out that you were telling people that I might have been the aggressor. She says, I would have done what I did for anyone. Meaning, I can't really remember the fight. I think they showed it once, and I'm not a person. I didn't keep reviewing it online because I thought the whole thing was terrible, especially when I found out that Kay was really hurt and there were stitches involved and a permanent scar. So I don't really know what happened. I know that Candace was being almost almost jumped. They didn't jump her, but she was holding up a bottle or something. And somehow there was glass and Kiana ended up cut. I do remember Karen Huger, still on the show at the time. She's coming back. She's going to be at BravoCon. She ended up helping Kay, calming her down, calling Kay's mother. But that whole thing was crazy. Kay, the only one you need to have smoke for, drag her every time you get a chance, verbally, of course, is Ashley. Ashley Bobblehead Darby. Keep dragging Ashley. I'm tired of her. So Gizelle ends up saying, when Tia's tearing up, Tia says, I lost my dad 8 years ago. She says, she will never be the same, speaking about Gizelle. And she says, I don't want you to feel that you have to invalidate your feelings. All of your friends want to validate how you felt. And there's no comparison between what you went through being assaulted, that's right, Tia, and what Gizelle went through losing her dad. So Ashley is 100% at fault, y'all. She's sitting here not saying a word. She's not saying anything. So Gizelle says, Kay, I love you, and I want the best for you. Dr. Wendy's not saying anything either, y'all. You know, Dr. Wendy loved Gizelle, and I think she's disappointed in this outcome. Gizelle said, sometimes friendships need to have the hard conversations, and I'm glad we had this conversation. She said, Kay, I love you. Kay accepts it. So Dr. Wendy, she will never love you. Okay. So we get a confessional, and Kay did tell us that she's glad Gizelle feels like good came from the conversation. And that's how they resolved it. It's resolved. The yacht takes them to where they're going. Let me welcome in Sharon Gobble, and then I'll continue the review, and then we'll talk about it if you've seen it. Kwan J is saying, I wouldn't explain nothing to those girls. I wouldn't either. I don't know why Stacey's sitting up talking about her personal business, and she was actually divorced. Chris was divorced, and then now she's dating her husband again. Thank you, Mama 59 Works. I didn't see the 700, but yay, I'm clicking along. Thank you, Kiwan. Kiwan hit a milestone as well. If you're not over there, y'all, Kiwan JTV, go over there. Great reviews. Also on shows, in addition to the Bravo shows, actual scripted. All's Fair, some of the other shows. So if you don't have time to watch the show, make time to watch the reviews. That's what I do on a lot of them. I love Stacey Pays Them Dust. Me too. And Gizelle and them don't know what to do with it. So that's why they're going to eventually stop trolling her. Probably move on to Angel because she's so thin-skinned. That's why I want Angel to know, Angel, do not react like that. Sharon Gobble came in and spoke to Mama 59 Works. Hello. And she spoke back. Hey, how are you doing, 32 Shots Photography? Hi, beautiful. This is my friend. I am so glad to see you in here. Thank you. Thank you for dropping in during the live. This is the Real Housewives Potomac, Season 10, Episode 6. So the ladies have finished up this little argument, wrapped it with a bow. Gizelle told Kay she loves her. Dr. Wendy's looking pressed. She wants Gizelle's love. So they get there. The yacht kind of docks. Jazzy flips into the ocean. They were like, okay, Dominique Dawes. Jazzy is so cute, y'all. She got this little white bikini on. They start taking pictures of her, and all the ladies are taking pictures together. Ashley's bumping a booty against somebody. Ashley, stop bumping against these women. All of them don't like that. So then they just have a great water day. They have fun. Everybody has a good time. Gizelle stands up. She's a great host, and she's telling them what they have planned for the night. They're going out to dinner. So first they're going to go back and change. Gizelle is checking on all the different ladies in their quarters where they are. We hear sounds of an electric pump. Angel says, give me a second. So y'all, Angel is pumping on this trip. So I would make Gizelle feel like $1 for talking about me and my breasts or anything. Angel, that is a card you can play, and play it from the bottom of the deck. So Stacey says, Orchid Bay is so beautiful. That's where they're going to dinner. Production shows us views of Nevis. It is gorgeous. The water, you can see the ocean. It looks like there's mountains. It's just gorgeous. Everything about it. So they sit at the table. Ashley said, we've set up names at the table. No more blanks for you, Stacey. Shut up, Ashley. Stacey's more relevant than Ashley now. I think more people are getting to be a fan of Stacey. And this is only her second season. It's her sophomore season. So Ashley asked, if Jazzy has done all her bridal things, are you getting to do all the things you want to do? Jazzy said, yeah, we had a joint bachelor and bachelorette party. Oh, Jazzy, you couldn't trust them, huh? Okay. So Gizelle asked, is Stacey invited to the wedding? Ashley pipes up, yeah, did you invite her? Is she in it? Stacey puts her QVC hat on and starts making a speech. Well, I'm going to the wedding, but it coincided at the same time as my new cannabis line. Remember the cannabis line that she said she didn't have, but now she does. That's okay, Stacey, because Happy Eddie, I love Happy Eddie, but he doesn't own the cannabis industry. So Stacey is telling us that she will go as she can to the wedding and participate as she can. She's not in it. Jazzy pipes up. She's just glad that Stacey is able to attend. So Gizelle was trying to start trouble. Gizelle gets in a confessional and says, Stacey didn't know if Jazzy was going to be a part of this group or not. And so that's why she was going to just throw her away and not go to the wedding. But now she's a part of the group. She's decided to come to the wedding. Stacey's not a real friend. Gizelle, don't project that onto Stacey's. That is what Gizelle would do. If someone wasn't on this show or they weren't important to Bravo in some kind of way, I don't think Gizelle would have anything to do with them. And she's putting that on Stacey. Stacey's telling us that her things that she's doing for her company, her new cannabis line, is going to conflict with a lot of what Jazzy's doing for the wedding. So I believe Stacey, and why would she lie about that? We get a confessional with Stacey saying this is Arabella's legacy. And she didn't apologize, y'all. I wouldn't either. I'm like Kiwan, I wouldn't explain. I stopped explaining to these ladies. She doesn't owe them anything. Oh, finally caught a live. You're in the bushes at work. Okay, 32 shots. Thank you so much for listening in. I appreciate that. They're beautiful women, just annoying. Yes. But you know what? One thing I like about this cast, they can annoy you. They can really annoy you, but then they'll do something that'll make you laugh, or you'll be like, oh, okay, she's not too bad. I've been enjoying Gizzy this season. Yeah, she's not terrible. I mean, we don't have Grand Dame, so we really need her to help move things along. I just want someone to put her in her place when she deserves it. Elisa Triplet, welcome in. Thank you so much for coming in during the live. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And then Kiwan JTV spoke back. Thank you. So they are at dinner now. They just discussed this wedding. Tia, now Tia, why did you do this? Tia says, I want to bring up diffusing the catfish situation that we had. So she starts talking about that. Jazzy is ready. She said, what you said to me that I'm filtered led me to go to your page and your pictures are filtered. Now, Tia, you starting with Jazzy. Jazzy was on ready. She was mid-fork. She started going, gesturing with the fork. Tia's like, oh, no, don't gesture with the fork. Jazzy said, oh, yes, I am going to use the fork. So these two are arguing. I don't really know about what, because the whole hatfish thing was about Angel, who's sitting right next to Jazzy, saying nothing. Gizelle has already apologized. She started it. But Tia, for some reason, brought this back up. So Jazzy is saying, as a matter of fact, none of my pictures are filtered. Most of my pictures are not filtered. So Jazzy, I know you probably do have some filters going on, but she said most of them are not. She's telling Tia, you come into this group, and Tia was saying, let me interrupt you. She said, I was diffusing a situation. I feel like you were heightening a situation. So Jazzy's talking like this, and she's trying to do a little British thing too. And then Tia says, oh, so are we mocking accents now? Now, Tia, Ashley has mocked your accent. You didn't call it out. And Gizelle has mocked your accent, and you didn't call it out. Okay? So this is a trick. Jazzy is yelling, you try to act so good. You said that Mr. Sunshine liked me. He was pushing up on me. I don't know what this is about, y'all. She says, you were the same person in the van giggling about it, that Darius, my fiance, has competition. And Tia's like, you have a temper. What are you yelling? I don't know why she's yelling either. Tia says, oh my God, you've got anger issues. So Jazzy says, don't play with me, Tia. 14 days before my wedding. Y'all, this wedding has her stress. And old Darius too. So Jazzy, I think that was kind of a lot. Tia tells us, she said more went on. She said, Sunshine wanted pictures with you. He said he wanted to stand next to you. And I joked to you that, oh, Darius has some competition. Jazzy is yelling, Darius doesn't have any competition. Now we know Darius is a cheat. And we know this because she has disclosed to Kay that he had maybe 1 or 2 babies on her. It came to me what the shady drink. Gizelle gave a shady shot to Jazzy that was called Stepmother. Okay. And Jazzy said, okay, Stepmother, I'll take it. Now you see how she'll take a joke from Gizelle versus how she's talking to Tia. So being there 10 years, I guess that has its privileges, because they will not buck up on Gizelle. And that's the main one they need to be talking to like that. So confessional Kay says, Sunshine is no competition. He has 2 dreads and 2 teeth. Now, Kay, get a little better with the shade, because Mr. Sunshine was very gracious to you all. You don't have to talk about this man like that. In production, you're very shady. They give us a dual picture, Darius next to Sunshine, and they highlight Darius's big smile. If he's fine to Kay, we love him for Kay. But the 2 baby thing, or 1, I don't know how many. 1 is too many, but okay. So in a confessional, Gizelle is saying, Jazzy's sensitive. When you have a partner that's doing extracurricular activity that he shouldn't be doing, it can make you a little bit insecure. Gizelle, you know, you got somebody with kids with the first 3 pews. The whole children's choir, he was the pappy. We're just joking, Gizelle. It's just light shade. We're joking. So she says that Jazzy is doing too much. I have to agree with Gizelle on that. She said, don't come at Tia with a fork. Now, Gizelle, you're doing too much. Stop painting Kay as, not Kay, but Jazzy. Don't paint Jazzy as aggressive. She's not coming at Tia with a fork. She was on ready and she was eating or whatever, and she was gesturing. And when Tia mentioned it to her, she declined to put the fork down, but it was just this. It wasn't anything. So Tia apologizes to, Tia apologized to Gizelle. No, Tia apologizes to Jazzy. Gizelle said, do you accept her apology? And then she said, don't be a shady MFer. And Tia says, but I quite like shade. So the ladies start laughing because it is funny. For Tia, she's supposed to be so high class, but she does like shade. Tia's a trip. I like how Tia can defend herself and not do too much. And now they're all laughing. So I thought that was cute. Tia says, there was one more thing. I'm very offended. You've mocked my accent. And the group's like, oh, Lord, because they're still trying to have drinks and dinner. And then she says, I'm joking. So they all get to laugh again. Wendy's sitting over there looking pressed. I guess she thinks the check getting ready to come, y'all. So she says, oh, it's my antibiotics. They make me lethargic. Wendy, I don't know that Wendy was ever sick. Gizelle she pre-ordered everything, remember? And then they served it family style. So there's not going to be any checks, Wendy. You're okay. Or did Happy Eddie send another email? I don't know. So then Kay, something about cheese. She couldn't eat whatever cheese was offered. Wendy offered Kay her pizza. I got a pizza. It doesn't have cheese on it. Wendy, what kind of pizza is that? She said, I can only eat 2 slices. Do you want it? Kay said, yeah, she'll take it. Now, remember they had words earlier in the day. So Gizelle is saying, oh, the women are bonding over pizza. So everybody thought that was cute. We get a confessional with Stacy. As the ladies are going back in the sprinter, y'all, this was the preview from last week. Let me read a few comments before I go back. Mama 59 Work says, I'm going to Keywan JTV after this live. You ladies rock. Yeah, what we'll start doing as one of my moderators, Mama 59 Works, when you find a link of a content creator that is in the chat, I'm going to have you drop the link so the ladies can easily find it. Keywan JTV, Jazzy was cringe in the moment. Something in the milk ain't clean. Yeah, you can't mention big grand Darius. She goes crazy because Tia she was poking her a little bit, but nothing she was doing warranted that reaction. I know she's on ready, trying to be more than a friend of, but something in the milk ain't clean. I have to agree with you on that. But the preview from last week, Confessional Stacy tells us, Wendy was sitting there also, of course, on the way back in the Sprinter van. Stacy said there was no production or anything. It looked like a member of production was sitting on the floor of the van, though. I was kind of watching the scene. She said they overheard Angel and Kay talking. Angel called someone a snaggle tooth, stringy hair, hot piece of trash. See, Angel, this is what we want to see. Sharon Gabo came in here last week and she said she doesn't think Angel is being who she really is. And I don't either. I think this fake nice thing is not really. If you're a mean girl, you can be a mean girl because I don't mind you calling somebody a snaggletooth, stringy hair, hot piece of trash. And Angel says she's very jealous of me. And then she shows a picture to Kay as proof. And Kay's like, oh, she got a lot of effing nerve. Y'all, they were dragging this lady. So I approve that message. If you want to drag. That's why you're here. So Angel and Jazzy were having this heated conversation. We want to find more about it. Confessional Stacy doesn't really know details, but she says it sounds like someone was trying to harm Angel and her family or get at Bobby. Woo child. Stacy, we like this. Confessional Gizelle says there is a bachelorette party that's happening. It's going to be a slutty bachelorette party. Now, Jazzy, you know when Darius sees this, he's going to have something for just the boys. Even though y'all already had a joint thing, he's going to have something for just the boys. So Gizelle puts up some sexy names. I thought the whole thing was a little silly. The ladies dressed sexy. Everyone kind of understood the assignment, except for, I would say, Stacy. Stacy was dressed like a milkmaid or something. Everybody else, Kay had on like a sexy cowboy. Angel was a sexy angel. Wendy was a slutty professor. Everybody kind of lived up to it. Ashley, she was dressed like Prince used to do with the butt cheeks hanging out. She's Ashley, but astronaut. I think she had that suit on the ready because I don't know where she got that little purple thing from. And so Wendy is joking. She said Stacy's dressed like an international slutty costume, but Wendy doesn't have a pass. She's saying that she's just dressed like a local one. But I thought the slutty professor was kind of cute. April Morgan, thank you so much for coming in. She was waving, speaking to everyone. We are just covering this review for Real Housewives of Potomac. Angel is a mean wag. Yeah, she loved that wag title, don't she? I think she is. She thought she would win Gizelle over, and she found out the hard way. There's no winning Gizelle over. If Gizelle anoints you as one of her friends, then good for you. But other than that, you're not gonna really just slide into her good graces. Cause she's gotta troll the lady. She got that sorority girl mentality. At 50, she's still trolling the girls. Angela A, welcome in. This is my friend. This is one of the moderators. Good morning, Sandra P, sis, mods, and chat. Thank you so much for coming in. Mama 59 Works is welcoming everyone in. Thank you so much. Remember to like and share if you have not already. Thank you so much, everyone. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. And again, the ladies are still down in Nevis. Y'all are doing this slutty bachelorette party. So Gizelle is dressed something like a three-ring circus. She has a whole whip and everything, and this terrible little hat. She's a mess. So they have all of these male appendages, straws, flutes, everything. Just the whole party was blurred out, okay? Ashley Bobblehead Darby is in her element. She kind of turned on, y'all, because when she saw Jazzy's like a little sexy bride. Jazzy pranced in there, and she is cute, y'all. They had a fit. So Angel says she's happy for Jazzy to get married, but she's bothered by a conversation they just had. She's tired. Now, Angel, we're tired. This is the last night of the trip, Angel. Stop finding things to be upset about, okay? Gizelle orchestrated some lap dances. Wendy whips Jazzy. Jazzy is all for it. Jazzy's the kind of friend you want at one of these events because Jazzy is down for almost whatever else they got going on. So Tia's me. Tia's like, oh my. Tia's a little, it's kind of funny, but they were doing a lot. So Wendy, of course, has to get in on the act. She forgot she was sick again, y'all. No credit card swipe machine, so she's good. She's threatening to tie up Jazzy. And Stacey's like, we're not going to hog tie the girl. Y'all, they doing too much. I'm with Stacey on that. Ashley has a chocolate pen. This is a chocolate pen. I told y'all she was turned on. She writes Darius's name on Jazzy. She licked Jazzy all the way from her down here in her neck all the way up. Jazzy, you should have popped her. Ashley been wanting to do that. So Angel is sitting there still mad, y'all. Angel tells us that someone texted her about, she said someone texted her about me, pointing at Jazzy. And then Angel gets up like she's going to walk out. I want everybody to have a good time. I'm just tired. Angel, why are you doing this? She could have handled this better. Kiwan J, welcoming everyone that came in. Thank you so much. Mama 59 Works as well. So the bachelorette party was in full swing, but then something went on between Jazzy, Angel, and Kay knows a little bit about it. This is what the stringy hair piece of hot trash has to do with. Ashley is telling Jazzy, you know you're delicious. Ashley, you're doing a lot. You better watch her, Jazzy, because she'll be in Darius's DMs trying to do a threesome with y'all. That's how Michael used to have Ashley doing. So Stacey is asking Jazzy to stand up. She's going to be whipped the German way, hard and accurate. Okay, Stacey, that's a lot. So Ashley says, Jazzy has a little bit of freak in her. Jazzy, I told you, watch Ashley. So Angel is saying, well, Jazzy, turn around. So you have a big mouth. But Angel cannot hide when she is upset. So Gizelle kind of catches it. She says, are you telling her she has a big mouth to make Darius happy, or a big mouth like she talks too much? Angel is saying that she talks too much. So then we find out that there was some incident, Jazzy saying there were incidents where Angel made someone feel left out and that she's not the nicest person. So now we didn't know this about Angel. Angel is, you know, like butter would melt in her mouth. She's such a sweetie pie. This is what she was trying to portray. But we've seen that Angel probably can be a little bit of a mean girl, which we don't mind. Gizelle's a mean girl. We like her. So Angel says, this is a story that didn't make a lot of sense to me. When she was dating Bobby in Chicago, the financial advisor, his attorney, some other professional was saying that Bobby was warned that she stole money and hid their birth control. She's trying to trap him with a baby. So this is something that someone told Jazzy. Jazzy says, well, there was another time I saw Angel being mean to someone. So, Jazzy, you're confusing me. Was Angel being mean to the girl that said this stuff about her to Bobby? Because she's Bobby's, she was his fiance. Now she's his wife. They have 2 children together. And Bobby's grinning from ear to ear every time he's anywhere around Angel. He can't hide that through the TV, and neither can she. So, I don't know. I don't like what's going on here. Gizelle claims it's great that Jazzy brought it up to Angel directly and not in front of the group. So we get a confessional of Wendy. Wendy's got a problem with it. Why is Angel upset? Because the rules of engagement with this group, Jazzy could have brought it up in front of the whole group and not did it in private. Wendy, you forgot when you first came on season 5 and Karen and them were trolling you for your life. And rumor has it that you're doing what you're doing behind the scenes because of how hard they trolled you. So, Wendy, we don't need to hear from you on this. Angel says she's tired at this point. Ashley gets a confessional. I need Ashley to sit down. Ashley's saying, who cares if you stole $30,000 from Bobby and he still married you? Relax, but don't relax too much. Sometimes you're a little too relaxed. So now I can see what's going on. Ashley is a little pressed by Angel because Angel really has a story. She does have her husband. They have a house in Denver, which is an award-winning architectural digest-worthy property that they still own. They're buying a home in Potomac. Those cute little kids. We get to see Bobby's, I think it's Bobby's mother, Angel's dad. She's got the whole story. But the only thing that's missing right now is I think she's a little too much up under Kay. And I don't think that's a good duo for the show. Angel should be getting to know all of the ladies, but she's not really doing that. So Gizelle saying, you being upset right now at the situation, not about Jazzy. Angel says, I don't know. Angel, that is the wrong answer. Gizelle was trying to give you an out. You should not be upset with Jazzy. Jazzy just got out of being upset with, I think she was arguing with Tia. Something went on with Wendy. We don't want to see them keep these grudges and arguments. So in a confessional, Angel is saying, Jazzy doesn't know me. And I feel she tried to go on a fact-finding mission about me. Now, Angel, what I heard Jazzy say was that somebody contacted her about something in Angel's past, and then Jazzy ended up bringing it to Angel. The whole thing's a little bit confusing. Angel says, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. Wrong answer, y'all. Wrong answer. Keywan, Angel didn't have to say anything. Yes, why hash it out there? I would have said, look, Jazzy's having a great time. This is her bachelorette party. We're not going to do this. But Angel couldn't hide how upset she is. She's mad. So I said, stay there, defend yourself, don't go to bed. But she shouldn't have really brought it up. And she better, when she sees this confessional, she better drag Bobblehead Dark. She better get Ashley. Because Ashley, now that she's already feel comfortable saying Bobby's name, they love to go after the husbands. Like Gizelle went after Chris. They just do different things. And both Chris's, actually. Gizelle talked about Chris Samuels, calling him big boy, lied on Monique about their child. So, yeah, I think Angel's going to have to do something. She's clearly upset. She wants to go to bed. Tia's saying, don't leave just yet. The ladies are trying to convince her to stay. But she gets up and walks out. She's on the phone with Bobby. Stacey's asking, why did she leave? So now all the attention goes from Jazzy back to Angel leaving. And they're trying not to get her to stay and not leave. She's leaving. Jazzy saying, I thought I was doing the right thing. I don't know, Jazzy. I don't think you're that innocent with that little white bride suit on. Jazzy's a trip, y'all. So confessional Gizelle saying Angel could have kept her mouth shut. She's an OG. She's a veteran, and she's right. She said we could have been drunk. She said we could have been drunk. Wendy and Ashley could have been kissing in the corner. That might happen anyway, y'all. So Angel calls Bobby. She says, I'm just tired. So she's telling Bobby everything that happened. Angel says in a confessional, I'm tired of the inquisition of me. I'm ready to wrap it up. Girl, we are 6 episodes in. Come on now. Because there are people that don't want her back, y'all. I'm not one of them. I feel like she deserves a little grace, but these reactions, she's too thin-skinned. She got to get a thicker skin. I think she can do it, but I don't know. The window of opportunity is closing. So Kay comes out and asks, are you okay? Angel says, I'm on the phone with Bobby. So Gizelle comes out. Is she okay? She's on the phone with Bobby. And Kay says, oh, you look like you're crying. Angel turned around, y'all. She is crying. She got a face full of tears. Angel, you tougher than this. Why are you letting these ladies do this to you? So we get a confessional with Kay. She says, I feel more bonded during this trip with Angel because we both trying to navigate this group. Dr. Wendy stands up. She's making a speech. I don't see why we have to coddle these ladies. They should understand the rules of engagement. Now, she's forgotten all about season 5 and how she was treated. Karen used to do that slink, the Wendy slink. Wendy got on my nerves this episode, y'all, and also last episode. So Confessional Wendy says, for Angel to question Jazzy's motive proves her misery. Y'all swear this girl is miserable. You and your angel wings can go home. Now, Dr. Wendy, that's too much. You and your sick self, every time a credit card machine come out, you can go home too. I don't like this, y'all. So Wendy, remember these words. So Stacy and Wendy wonder what happened so fast. And Kay is saying, she's my friend. I like what Kay did. Kay standing up in this little, what is going on is kind of less serious because they're dressed in the slutty costume. So she's this sexy cowgirl. And she got all leather on, but she had these literal cow boots. They're black and white and they thigh high. So she's standing there. My friend, I have to defend her because she is in a fragile space and she is my friend. So y'all, that was the end of the episode. This is a mess. This is just too much. Angels left the building again. And this is the last night of their trip, y'all. But she was on Watch What Happens last night. Let me see. And let me see if I have a part. Well, this is Andy. Oh, no, that's Tia. Okay, we don't have Angel. We have Tia. I will have to put one in the next time I do a review. But that was the end of the episode. The previews, I can't remember details of the previews. There's something coming up that had me screaming, y'all. Ashley, remember I said Ashley was turned on at that party? She licking on Jazzy and all that. They're going to do some type costume party. Ashley was dressed just like a little stud. I don't know who she was supposed to be, but she looked like Billy Bob Thornton or somebody. She came bopping into the party. I said, uh-oh, look out for Ashley. She's on the prowl. So this is a mess. So again, this is episode 6. This was a pretty good episode. Not too much happened, but they had a little bit of argument, resolved them. Partied a little bit, argued, resolved it. So I guess I'll give it maybe a 7. I don't know. Angel, I don't know. I'm going to have to give her a 6 on the season so far. Episode 6, I'm a great Angel, a 6. Angel, you can still pass for the year, but she got to get thicker skin. I mean, Kay's having a tough time, but you don't see her running out crying. But it was a pretty good episode, everybody. I love when they're on location. They're in Nevis. It's the last night of the trip. So thank you so much for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. Thank you for everybody that came in during the live. And if you're not able to join during the live team replay, I appreciate you so much. Press the like button. If you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. And I will see you all in these YouTube streets. Have a great day, everybody. Goodbye.